This is the ultimate preview of the ultimate matchup on opening night in the NBA. I'm Chris Hassel, and we are going to break down Lakers-Clippers for you right here on the CBS Sports YouTube page. Which team has the better duo? Which team has the best chance to win it all? And we have a betting expert who says that both of these teams are going to fall short of expectations. We also have a couple former NBA greats. 3-and-D, Raja Bell, and Rip Hamilton, the NBA champ. We're running the three-man weave here. Fellas, LeBron is going to be playing point guard. At least that's how the season is going to start for the Lakers. Do you like that?
I don't mind it. I mean, he winds up being the default point guard on just about every team he plays on. They typically have a PG with him that brings the ball up the court, gets him into offense, and then winds up being kind of spot shooterish while LeBron does his thing. I mean, Kyrie was an exception to that, but a lot of his teams have played that way. I've got no problem with it as long as you keep an Avery Bradley type of player on the floor. And by that I mean a guy who can go down and guard PGs on the other end of the court. If you're going to be big with Danny Green, Kyle Kuzma, LeBron James, and two bigs, I don't know how you effectively guard the point guard position with the likes of, Steph Curry and Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook. So as long as they keep that hybrid type of two guard that can guard point guards, I'm fine with LeBron running the point.
I would have to agree with Raja. I mean, I'm not just fine. I love him playing the point guard position because, like Raja said, like LeBron has pretty much been the point guard on every team that he's been on. 80% of the time he's on the floor, the ball either starts with him or ends with him, and most likely it starts with him. And even in Cleveland, when Kyrie was supposed to be the dedicated point guard, they figured out that they're a better team with LeBron at the one. What LeBron needs most, he needs shooting out on the floor. That's what they learned from last year, what they didn't have. So you cannot start a Rajon Rondo out on the floor because Rondo just doesn't extend the floor the way that Danny Green does, or a guy like Avery Bradley. And Avery Bradley is one of the better defenders on the floor that can pick up the point guard one-on-one and pretty much pressure him on the floor. So I like what they're doing with him, moving him to the point guard position because he has the ball in his hand and he does a great job of been setting guys up his whole entire career.
The NBA used to be about the big threes. Now it's about the duos. LeBron has Anthony Davis. PG-13 is out for the first 10 games or so of the season, so Kawhi doesn't have him for this matchup on opening night, but it's going to be Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. What's the best duo in the NBA, in your opinion?
For me, it's not. I mean, look, there are some great duos. I want to start by saying that, but it is LeBron and AD. I mean, you're talking about the best player of this generation. And yeah, he was hurt last year. I mean, but I'm not willing to say that he's fallen off a cliff in terms of what he can do. I think he'll be motivated this year and as healthy as he's ever been. And AD is universally regarded as probably a top, 6, 7 player in the NBA. You put those two together, they got to be the best duo in the NBA.
I would have to agree with Raja again. I mean, great minds think alike. But when you got two of the top 5 players in the game on one team, and then, like we talked about earlier, LeBron James' basketball IQ is second to none. We're not talking about the Houston Rockets with James Harden and Russell Westbrook, where you might have doubt. But when you got a guy like LeBron James that came out early when they signed Anthony Davis and said, "Hey, we're going to run the offense through AD." How many times did that happen? Do you think Michael Jordan would have ever said that?
No.
Do you think Kobe Bryant would have ever said that?
No.
LeBron James understands what he has in Anthony Davis. He knows this is like a once-in-a-lifetime generational player in Anthony Davis. So he understands that, hey, the offense got to run through them. But that's a situation where one guy can come off the floor and the other guy can just carry the team.
So MJ never said, let's run the offense through Rip Hamilton here in Washington.
Never, not at all. When he's open and he got that hand up, that means pass it to MJ, regardless if it was a guy fronting him or not.
Well, how about this duo with the Clippers? It might be the best defensive duo in the league, and when you factor that in with the other defensive assets the Clippers have, how good are they going to be defensively?
Well, I think they're going to be the best defensive team in the NBA. I mean, you got a guy, Kawhi Leonard, who is arguably the best defender in the game, and then you got Patrick Beverly, who is just a man-child on the defensive end, guarding point guards, not allowing them to get the ball up the floor. And then you got Paul George, who's one of the better two-way players on the floor also. I just think they're going to be a nightmare, especially for all these elite teams and teams that are not elite, but that just want to get the ball up the court and score and try to outscore you. This is a team, especially in playoffs, when the games slow down, they're going to be able to defend, and they're going to be able to win when games are in the 80s or 90s. So I really like these Clippers, the Clippers' chances.
Yeah, defensively, they got a lot of nice pieces. They're really versatile. They can switch all over the place, and they're nightmarish. What gives me a little bit of pause is just their ability to close out the possession and rebound, just because they're not the biggest team in the league, and that is the last part of playing defense. But ultimately, I think that the gifts that some of those guys have out there on the perimeter, when you're talking about Kawhi and Paul George and Patrick Beverley, ultimately they'll be a really, really good defensive team. I do worry about defensive boards, though, when push comes to shove with them and the game slows down a little bit.
So rebounds could be an issue on the defensive end. What about guarding the center position? Do you see a potential weakness there?
I mean, if you had a center that was going,
if it was Shaq out there, right. Lonzo won.
They are not around anymore.
Around
and so, I don't really see anyone that's going to say, here, we've got this mismatch. We're going to run, drops.
Yeah.
We're going to run and just put the ball into the post and let them go to work. And so for that reason, I don't know that that's going to be an Achilles heel of that team. Now, sure, they're a little lighter up front than maybe some other teams in the NBA, but ultimately I don't think other teams are built to take advantage of that.
Me neither. I don't think that's going to be their Achilles heel. I think what they will have issues on is who's going to close the game for them. Who's going to be their closer? I mean, Lou Williams has been a guy in the past that's, he's been one of the better fourth quarter scorers in our game, especially when it comes to late game situation. But then you got a guy like Kawhi Leonard that can close games. Then you got a guy like Paul George. And anytime you have multiple guys on your team that can close games, there's a little hesitation out there. Raja might have a great game and he might score 30, but I might be the closer. And Raja might try to close that game. And then in the media, it's like, why not give it to Rip? Rip been closing out, majority of the game. So that's going to be the biggest question mark for him. For me, who's going to be able to close out the games, and who are they willing to give that ball to?
Well, I think we know the spotlight is going to shine more on the LA Lakers because they're the Lakers, for one, and they have LeBron James. Also, the Clippers aren't going to have Paul George for the first 10 games or so of this season. So how much more pressure do you think is on the Lakers to start fast?
Yeah, I think naturally the Lakers are going to be, put under more of a microscope. The Clippers are always going to be allowed to some degree to kind of fly under the radar in LA. And when you talk about, and Rip and I both agree that that's the best duo in the NBA, they're going to need to come out of the gate and they're going to have to produce quickly, at least for the media, to buy in. Now, ultimately, it doesn't really matter whether the media buys in or not. If you're LeBron and company, you just want to make sure that you're healthy and that you're firing on all cylinders come down the stretch of the season. But the pressure, I think, will be more on the Lakers' shoulders to come out and be effective early.
And you got to remember, the Lakers didn't make it to the playoffs last year. They only won 37 games. LeBron missed, a big part of the second half of the season. So for them, they want to come out and have a great start because they don't want to be a team that's fighting for a playoff position or fighting for positioning late in the season. They want to make up as much ground as possible now. So when it comes to late in the season, now LeBron James can rest a little bit. Now AD can rest a little bit. So look for them to come out the gates early and try to win basketball games.
Okay, how about the very first game? The Clippers are a slight favorite despite not having Paul George in this game.
That's the Lakers. The Lakers are going to get that win for the reason Rip just said. It was a great point. Early in NBA seasons, and you've seen it in years past, you can accumulate some wins before people really get rolling, start putting them in the bank, and those become really valuable when you want to rest guys and kind of put them on those maintenance programs down the stretch. I think the Lakers are going to try to eat early. They're going to try to get out to a hot start, let the league know who they are, and start banking those wins before teams really get their footing on the season. I think the Lakers are going to be the more motivated, and they're going to be the team that comes out with the win in night one.
And they want to make it. They want to let everyone know who is the king of LA. Mm-hmm. And, you hear a lot of fans go back and forth, who's the better team. But this is a situation for LeBron James to really come out and put his stamp on who's the better team. The Clippers are not going to have Paul George, but that's still great for the Clippers because Kawhi can be Kawhi. He doesn't have to take a back seat for another superstar. He can go out there and play his game. But I feel like the pressure is on the Lakers, and they're going to come out and win that basketball game.
I give you the two LA teams against the field. What would you rather have to win the NBA championship, the two LA teams or the rest of the field?
I'm taking the two LA teams.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm going to agree with Rip on that.
I'm going to take two LA teams.
Okay, well, we'll pin them down a lot more as the season moves on here. Rip Hamilton and Raja Bell talking big matchup in LA to open the season. All right, here's a list of the odds to win the whole darn thing. Clippers are the favorites, followed by the Lakers at 4-1. Then you have the Bucks at 6-1. Sixers 8-1, along with the Rockets. Celtics all the way down there at 25-1. All right, let's get sports lines. Tim Doyle in here. And Tim, you see the LA teams on top. Not sure what kind of value you can get out of that. The Clippers are the favorites, plus 350, followed by the Lakers, plus 400.
I get it. You know what I mean? From a talent standpoint, probably the two most talented teams in the NBA, right? You got LeBron James, who looked unbelievable in his last preseason game against the Warriors, teaming up with Anthony Davis, like these NBA Jam-like duos that every team has kind of assembled. And with the Clippers, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. My big fear with the Lakers and the Clippers is, do they care about the regular season? Like, do they care if they get a 5 or a 6 or a 3 or 1? You know, last year, Paul George played the most games of those four guys. He played 77. Kawhi played 60. LeBron played 55. Anthony Davis played 56 games. And the West is going to be difficult night in and night out. I would look to the East, where I believe it's a two-horse race. I do believe it's just the Sixers and the Bucks. And the Bucks have pushed all in right now with giving Giannis whatever he wants, paying Chris Middleton a crazy amount of money to keep him in place, bringing in some free agents. Like, now is the time for the Bucks. If they don't win a championship, Chris, in the next 2 years, bye-bye to Giannis. Ormorphi means beautiful. I don't know in Greek how do you say bye-bye, but I know it's not good for Bucks fans if they don't win a title in the next 2 years, because Giannis is going to skip town. Now is their window. The East is bad, so I'm going to look to either the Bucks or the Sixers for some value there as far as winning a championship.
Now, the Bucks have the third best odds. They did win the most games of the regular season last year in the NBA, but that's not going to cut it anymore. The NBA divisions, yes, there still are divisions, and yes, they are relevant, only because you can bet on them, as you very well know, Tim. The Clippers are in the Pacific Division with the Lakers and the Warriors, and the Clippers are the favorites. Might be able to squeeze some value out of teams not named the Clippers. Who you looking at here in this division?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to come on today and say, I really like the Warriors, because they got embarrassed last night. I know it's a preseason game and Steph Curry didn't play, but I like the Warriors, and here's why, all right? There's a chip on their shoulder as far as like, yep, they're done. That's it. Lose Iguodala, you lose Durant, lose Sean Livingston, lose Quinn Cook, who's burying threes all over them. I think Steph Curry is a strong possibility to win MVP this year. I think his usage is going to be through the roof. I think he's going to average north of 30 points a game. And if you watch the Warriors last night without Steph Curry, you're like, oh yeah, like he's going to get a lot of looks. Now you're only going to get it 5.5 to 1 with him, but you couple him with D'Angelo Russell. I think the X factor is going to be for the Warriors, and it's simple. Can Draymond Green give you 16 points a game? Like, didn't Draymond Green like score 30-plus points in Game 7 against the Cavaliers, a game they lost? But he was like burying threes and making plays. Watching him right now from an offensive standpoint, he has regressed so much, Chris, because his role changed. Like, when they had Durant and all the rest of the shooters and Clay and Steph, like, all Draymond Green had to do is grab you like 10, 12 rebounds and get 8, 10 assists. Like, they didn't ask him to score. He needs to score right now. He needs to find that scoring ability. Couple that with Steph, D'Angelo Russell, a new arena. I think they're worth taking a flyer on, because they're going to compete every single night. I can't say that for the Clippers and Lakers, because you know they're going to be watching as far as how many games their 4 superstars play each night.
Yeah, a lot more pressure on those LA teams than the Golden State Warriors coming into this season. Let's talk win totals, over-unders for both the Clippers and the Lakers, beginning with LeBron and the Brow. The over-under is set at 49 and a hook.
I'm going to go under, because I don't know how many games these guys are going to play. If you watched them last night against the Warriors, if they play together 75 games, I don't know, they're going to go like 74-1. I mean, they looked that good last night. I love the additions the Lakers made. Like, they found players that fit LeBron James basketball. Like, you got to have shooters surround LeBron. Avery Bradley can make shots. Obviously, Danny Green has been making shots since like 1984. That's what he does. Quinn Cook comes off the bench now. He can make shots. And now what does that do? That opens up the middle for Anthony Davis. That opens up the middle for a guy like JaVale McGee with the pick and roll, because they were running pick and roll last night time and time again. and then everyone stays with the shooters, and then the middle is just wide open. My fear with the Lakers is they're like, who cares about the regular season? Like, biggest thing is winning an NBA championship, and that means keeping Anthony Davis healthy, which is hard to do. And that means monitoring LeBron James as he enters his 17th season. Last night watching him, he looked like he was 23 years old. I mean, the guy is unbelievable. I'll have what he's having for lunch, a reference from Harry Met Sally.
So you really do like the Lakers. You just fear that they're not going to play LeBron and AD enough to win 50-plus games. Let's go to the LA Clippers. They won't have Paul George for about the first 10 games of the season. They do have Kawhi Leonard. Their over-under is higher than the Lakers, 52.5.
Under. You know, Kawhi played 60 games last year. How could you, as Clippers management, be like, hey, buddy, you know what you need to do this year? Play 74 games. He's going to be like, nah, dude, last year I played 60. I won an NBA championship. Like, that's going to start to become the bar for at least him, I believe, in the short term. For the next 2 or 3 years, like, he's going to be like, hey, I played 60. I dominated the NBA. I won an NBA championship. All right, so you got Paul George missing double-digit games. Kawhi, in my eyes, is going to play no more than 64, 65 games. I'm going to have to go under as well, because this is another team that just, it's all about an NBA title. Like, they could win 78 games. They could go 78-4. And if they don't win an NBA championship, this season is viewed as a failure. So this is another squad that, who cares, 2, 3, 6 in the Western Conference. Like, it's all about the playoffs for them. So my fear is load management with both the Lakers and the Clippers. Like, does it really matter to win regular season games? I don't think it matters. I do think it matters for the Nuggets. I do think it matters for the Jazz. Like, those two squads are going to be trying to secure home court because I believe they have massive home court advantages. Clippers and Lakers, they're like, forget that. It's all about the playoffs.
Let's before we let you get out of here, let's do a little fun prop for you, because there's one out there that the Lakers will win the NBA title in the next 3 seasons, including this one. So you got 3 years to do it. The yes is plus 150. The no is minus 180. So basically the question is, will the Lakers win a championship in the next 3 seasons?
Man, I love everything about this play. First of all, it's a mind bet, so all you can lose is your mind. I do appreciate that, okay? I also have, like, a few variables I'm playing with. I got yes as a dog, and I have a couple of seasons to play with. See, the thing with LeBron is, like, LeBron is going to dictate, like, who gets brought in. Like, LeBron's never going to shut it down. Well, I guess he did last year. But now that he has Anthony Davis, like, he's going to be trying to push all in to win a title. So I'm going to go yes here just because they're the dog, and I do think that they're going to try to win. But, Chris, this isn't a real bet.
Well, I mean, look, it's basically a bet whether or not you think LeBron James is going to win another title, because 3 years he is going to be he's going to be a lot older, and you can find that on Westgate, by the way. Tuesday night, Clippers-Lakers. Clippers don't have Paul George, but, Tim, they are a favorite, -1. They are the de facto home team, whatever the hell that means at Staples Center against the Lakers. Who do you like in this game to open up the season?
Yeah, do you have to come in like a separate entrance as like the home team and the road team? We're the road team tonight. Like, we got to go through door number B. I'm going to go over here just because I think that the Lakers looked explosive against the Warriors, and that pick and roll was impossible to guard with all those shooters surrounding LeBron. And when you look at the Clippers roster, I do think they're deeper, and they have guys that make shots. You know, it's not just Kawhi Leonard. Lou Williams go out there, get you 20, 25 any single night. Shamet's a guy that can spread the floor. I love the addition of Mo Harkless, a big that can pick and pop. Clippers have a lot of weapons right now, and it's a regular season game. Like, in the playoffs, you have to guard, and this total would probably be hovering around like 208. But in the regular season, first night, guys are going to be going up and down. I'm going to take over in this matchup.
I've never heard so many preseason references, but we get them from Tim Doyle, who's putting some stock into what he's seen in the preseason. It gets going for real on Tuesday night. Lakers and Clippers, the nightcap. Tim Doyle, thank you so much.
You thought this was a hanky. It's not. It's a Fugazi hanky.
For basketball fans across the country and our neighbors to the north, the wait is almost over. And with CBS Sports preseason NBA power rankings, you see it listed here, including the title odds. Both LA teams, Lakers and Clippers, right there, with the Clippers the betting favorite at 3.5 to 1. And Tuesday night, it's the doubleheader, Lakers and Clippers from Los Angeles. So again, less than a week away from the start of the NBA regular season. And to give us a sense of what Southern California is like right now, nobody better than Bill Reiter, host of Reiter's Block, joining us from Los Angeles. And Bill, when we look at these two teams, give me a sense, because right now both NFL teams, the Chargers and Rams, a bit of a mini slump right now. What's the vibe in LA?
Yeah, Dodgers fans are still in mourning. But the basketball vibe here, Tommy, is pretty exuberant. Talking to people in both those organizations and just fans around Los Angeles, there is a lot of confidence, brimming on arrogance, that a all-LA conference finals is a guarantee come the postseason. You see Lakers fans everywhere sporting those jerseys with pride again, and I haven't seen Clippers fans in this town in years. They are back, and they believe that they've got some pretty exciting things in store over the next few months.
When you look at both teams, they made some offseason moves, obviously some new additions, so lots of change here. As you prepared to really dive deep into both teams, and really you do a great job in the association as a whole, what do you think the big storylines for each team will be this year?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think for the Lakers, and I think that maybe people are sleeping on this. I know they're not in that Lakers organization. I've talked to some sources over at Staples with the Lakers. Their biggest concern, the biggest narrative is going to be how difficult it is, how much people underestimate what it means to carry the weight of playing on a LeBron James team with massive expectations when he's with a new team, or in this case, a vastly new situation with Anthony Davis. The first time LeBron went to Miami all that time ago, the only time he went to Miami that first year, they started 9-8. Eric Spoelstra almost got fired. LeBron goes back to Cleveland. They're under 500 in January in their first year. The pressure that we're going to feel and we're going to see for this Lakers team, exacerbated by the China NBA controversy and just exacerbated by the fact that the best team might be down the hall in Staples Center in that Clippers locker room. The big narrative for the Lakers is going to be how long until they're comfortable, how long until LeBron likes his teammates. Is Frank Vogel going to be the right guy in LeBron's eye? That stress, that tension, that's a real thing with LeBron James teams, and it will be on, I think, stark display the first few months of this season.
And what about the other side with the Clippers? Again, two stars coming to them, borderline superstars. What do you think the big storyline for the Clippers will be?
Yeah, and look, I like this Clippers team a lot, and I know that whenever new stars have to play together, it takes a while to get used to each other. I think Kawhi Leonard's about as easy a superstar to play with in the modern NBA. But besides health, which is a big issue because we've seen Kawhi and Paul George both have some serious injuries the last few years. Even though they're saying otherwise, they're going to load manage each of those guys. We know PG is going to miss the first 10 games. That's going to delay the ability for Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and really a really deep and prideful Clippers team to just get used to each other. I think they'll be fine, but a lot of times when you have superstars that come into a new situation, especially together, it can take till almost the All-Star break for that team to really gel. And again, the pressure and the expectation that'll be on the Clippers may not be able to live up to that, Tommy, until January, February, in terms of just figuring out how to play together and how to be comfortable together.
And before I let you go, then, as we get ready for the new regular season, I have to peg you in terms of who you think will be the better team in Los Angeles. It sounds like you're leaning Lakers here, but I want to speak for you. Who do you like and why?
You know, actually, I think it's Clippers. I think in the long run, right, if we're talking who's more likely to win an NBA championship, I think it's the Clippers by a long run. I have a little bit of a concern about the perimeter defense for this Lakers team. I don't have that concern at all with that Clippers squad. I mean, you talk about when they're healthy, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard as perimeter defenders. That's the best tandem in that respect in the NBA. We saw what Kawhi can do in the postseason. Paul George is a superstar, and this is a ridiculously deep Clippers team who, again, made the playoffs last year. They were scrappy. They had this injection of superstar talent. I think they have the better coach. Both these teams, the Lakers and Clippers, can win an NBA championship, but for my money, in the long run this season, I think the Clippers will be the better team.
All right, and we get our first taste Tuesday night, a doubleheader. Again, Clippers and Lakers, the late game. Bill Reiter joining us here on CBS Sports HQ. Remember to check out Reiter's Block Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Bill, appreciate it, man. Thanks.